tell us about just the work it took to come back when you were hurt and what it meant to get back for that Ole Miss game.
Yeah, I mean, everything, honestly. I try to, you never take anything for granted, especially playing this sport. But, just having time away from the field and away from the guys and away from the teammates sometimes, not being there with them on Saturdays and kind of eat at you. So just making sure to stay on top of what I can stay on top of as far as my program, really attacking so I can get back out there with my guys.
What did it mean to be back for that Ole Miss game?
I mean, everything. I've been playing football since second grade, so, I really love the sport and love these guys and the O-line room and the offense and defense for this whole team. We take pride in connection, peace, and just like I said, I felt like I couldn't be there with my guys on Saturday. It was kind of eating away at me, so it just meant the world to be back out there with them.
Yeah, you guys are finally starting to get healthy, and you were able to close out that game against Florida because of your ability to run the football. How big was that for the confidence of this offensive line as a whole?
Yeah, for sure. We never make any excuses whether who's in there or who's not. We at the University of Georgia, we take pride in having depth at multiple positions, and offensive line room is one of those positions where in years past we've always rotated and stuff like that. So this is a way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Playing this sport, especially the position that we play in this sport. So just good to be able to be back out there together and finish the game strong.
Yeah, mentally, I guess how tough has this season been on, back issues can kind of be like a lingering, tough to get rid of thing. How have you tried to stay, I guess, focused on your rehab mentally, and how much of your teammates helped you throughout that process?
Yeah, for sure. The guys really what kept me in it, just loving me up, making sure still feel loved and part of the team and everything like that. So it's really credit to the teammate and the culture that we built here. And I just feel like for me personally, it was just one of the mantras that Coach Smart has right here, just keep chopping wood, because you can't do everything or anything in one day. It gradually takes time, so just keep chopping wood and making sure every day I can do what I can to get back out there.
You've been playing football a long time, you said, since second grade. Have you ever played a game where cowbells were involved?
No, I have not. Ironically, I haven't, no.
How are you guys kind of preparing for that atmosphere that Davis Wade has?
We only worry about the 11 people on the field, so I feel like that's just an external factor. And, once you really get in the game in the mode, you don't really pay attention to the crowd noise or anything like that anyway. So we're just making sure we execute and communicate on the field, so that won't be a factor.
Some of the young guys on that offensive line had really no choice but to play early in the season because of injuries. But how valuable is it now that if you have to come out, one can play right tackle, that you guys have a lot of options because guys were forced to play earlier in the season?
Well, yeah, that's one of the things since I've been here. We've always rotated 6-7 deep at the offensive line position. That's a premium plus or advantage, you could say, as far as just being able to switch guys in, whatnot, for whatever situation may be. So I'll definitely say it just comes back to how hard we work and being able to prepare and stay ready for whenever your name's called.
Ernest, I know you obviously talk to your dad a lot, and in fact, he played the position and everything. But some of the tough times that you personally gone through, how much have you leaned on him for his experience? Obviously, he probably went through some of these same things that you've had to go through of late.
Hey, for sure, it's obviously a plus. Just being able to have somebody you can lean on that's been through there. Some people would say been there, done that. So it's good for just guidance and stuff like that. I can always lean on them and ask questions whenever need be.
What have been your impressions of this Mississippi State front and just what you guys are going to see on Saturday?
Yeah, they're on multiple defense. They do a lot of different things on defense, and if you really take a deep dive into their season, really pay attention to records, everything, they've been in all one-score games. So just making sure they're prepared for the multiple things that they do on defense, front and coverages and blitzes and stuff like that, and it all starts today.
Ernest, obviously getting back on the field is one thing, but just have you had that moment where you've been like, oh man, I really feel like this is who I am as a player, and you had that moment where it kind of clicked, like, okay, I'm back to what I was before injury?
Yeah, I'll honestly say practice leading up to Ole Miss. I'm just getting back out there, not really easing back into it, but just playing football again. Just being back out there. Especially the position I play, sometimes it takes like the first thud, the first time you hit somebody or the first time you hear some pads, you feel like you're back. So I'll say that really happened the week before Ole Miss in practice and everything, so for sure.
Well, can you describe the moment that you?
Probably just the first team run, honestly. First good on good team run period. We get after it and have good physical practice and stuff like that. So just that first thud of just feeling, good football, physical football was probably, I'll say that.
You've been around a long time, you've heard a lot of Kirby Smart mantras during the week. Like, what's the process of him coming up with those, you guys hearing it for the first time as players and embracing it throughout the week?
Yeah, well, he's really good at what he does as far as finding ways to keep us motivated and stuff like that. So every week would be a specific team message for the week, and he tries to find something that kind of embodies the whole week and what we need to focus on going into the game. So it's honestly good. Sometimes just fast and free or like stuff like that will just be easy to think about and play and help you play with ease.
Yeah, you've worked with Oscar Delp for a long time, and we've really seen him come on as a run blocker this year. What's impressed you about him in that regard, and what do you think makes him such an effective run blocker as a tight end?
Yeah, it's really his ability to sustain blocks. I feel like Delp's really good at not only just the first thud, but after that first initial contact and running his feet and being able to sustain the block. He definitely makes a lot of big blocks for us. And happy to have him next to me, behind me, or whatever the case may be. Formation bearing, have him next to me blocking. Sure.
Anybody else for Ernest? All right, Ernest. Thank you, sir.